Howdy, starting a new project this week. This is more on my honey-do list than anything I'm going to be selling. But as part of this project, I am making a bunch of tiny windows. All right, so going on to my porch here. This little area here, basically I just built this really quick to keep our chest freezer out of the elements. This is also where my wife keeps all her plants. So earlier, last week, I replaced the roof on this section with clear polycarbonate roof panel. It does let in significantly more light, but I want more. So this one is just a prototype. Basically, I was trying to figure out how to best do this. So this will fit underneath the edge of the panel above it. I can go a little bit thicker. I believe I'm going to increase these little window frames to about a 1/2 inch from 3/8 just to make it a little bit easier to work with. And because I bought 5 panels, I have 15 of these to play with. So basically we're going to be putting little tiny windows. These will be on the outside, but you know, every so often, so when the plants are on the shelves in here, they will have a bit of sunlight coming through this wall on the other side. And just to give you the big picture of what we're looking at here, you can see there is a lot of shade on this wall pretty much constantly, but when I come out in the morning and do some of these, I will see where the sunlight is, and that's where a little window will go. Same thing in the evening, and we should be able to get enough daylight in there to help our plants out. What I'm using is this Toughback. It is a clear polycarbonate sheet. That sheet I am able to cut on that bandsaw there with a standard wood blade. I do not know what would happen if you tried to cut plexiglass or any other type of item, so use caution. Howdy. Before I went out to start this project again, checked the date that I filmed the first part of this video. It was about 3 weeks ago, so I'm more trying to just get this thing done than make a professional video. But basically what I'm doing is I am making the tiny window frames. I have ripped a piece of 2x4 into 1/2 inch strips. And then I'm putting about a 1/4 inch cut in the bottom of each of these. And to get a top and a bottom, or different sides, basically ripping that straight in half as well. So that will be forming my frame here. The 8x10 pieces of this polycarbonate I did rip into basically 3 5/8 by 8 inch strips. That was done on the bandsaw. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the piece inside the long side here. My long sides are 7 3/4. My short sides are 4 3/8. That may or may not be relevant to what you're doing. But once I get them in there, I'm just taking a clamp and I'm using enough room on the bottom so it'll kind of stand. And then I'm taking a little bit of glue and just dabbing it on the ends of the boards here. The ends of the short sides. And forming that over it. Now this one's a little bit long too. If they're long, I've just been trimming them off on the bandsaw. I'll show you in a minute how long it is. But basically just keep the one side flush and then you only got to trim the other side. So it ain't too much of a deal. And like I said, this is only the second one I've done, so I'm still fine-tuning the process here. Yeah, and we're going to stick the second one on this end here. Wear safety glasses for this part here. If you're not already wearing glasses, and I'm just taking a brad nail and making sure you're above where the glass is. Popping a brad on each end there. My little clamp jig here just kind of collapsed when I did that. That's all right. And holding that in there, and again, make sure you're not shooting the glass because bad things will probably happen. Polycarbonate, whatever. And that is tiny window number 2 out of what will be 12 or 15. So, and so I'll just trim that off on the bandsaw off camera once I... Alright, I've got 2 of the tiny windows done here. I'm getting 3 pieces per sheet of this polycarbonate. I'm going 3 5/16, just a hair over 3 1/4, because 10 divided by 3 is a hair over 3 1/4. I have rigged up a fence here because my old Facebook Marketplace bandsaw doesn't have a fence. So clamps, block of wood, using the last remaining piece as a guide there. I guess this camera angle will work here. Do wear safety glasses if you're cutting polycarbonate. These I got off Zenny for like dirt cheap. Let's cut this. Cut pretty good. And leave all the protective films on and everything when you're doing this. There's one sheet ripped into 3. And do another one. And leave all the protective films on while you're doing this. I'm sorry I didn't put the microphone on because I'm kind of in a hurry to get this thing done. Alright, so another sheet ripped into 3, and do one more. I'm going to hold back one of my 5 sheets for maybe something else, maybe for this. Oh, that was quick and easy. And I'm using this stuff here, Tough Vac. Got it at Lowe's. It was like $6 a sheet, I think. And do not attempt to bandsaw anything else. Or if it blows up in your face, don't blame me. This apparently works. And the edge, obviously not super clean, if that'll focus. But hit it with some sandpaper. And it'll square right away for you. Alright, I've marked out the spot for my first tiny window here. Tried to use math the first time, got a little bit off, but luckily you can see through these, so I know where my lines will be. And have to just plug in my jigsaw behind the freezer here, because I don't have a cordless one. And I got these guys hanging out in there, right on top of the outlet. But I'm not allergic to bees, I just don't like getting stung. Alright, I got the hole ripped out with the jigsaw. When I got to the top bit here, my jigsaw base was too fat to hit that, so I had to go on the inside. So that's basically my inside hole there. Plenty of room, I just needed to mark where to make my lines. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's working. Alright, I just decided to run the air hose down to the deck here. And I just tacked this first one in with brad nails. But there is window 1. In the near future, I plan on having 11 more windows in this wall so that it can bring in the light to to the flower garden here. So I apologize, this isn't really a how-to video. This is a what I'm doing video. So it's not really in a tutorial mode. So I apologize for that, but maybe it'll give you an idea, something to do. Or maybe your wife will see it and she'll give you an idea about something to do to bring a little bit more light into a little corner here where we want to be growing some plants. Alright, the sun has gone down and it's a little bit cooler in the garage, so I'm back to work on the wife's project here. What I'm doing is I'm making a bunch of little shelf brackets, cheapest way you can make one. This is all scrap from the bench build that I just did. And I'm just taking, cutting 45s and about, probably about 7-inch piece here. Clamping the 45 down so I can get a good grip on it as I'm screwing. Put a couple of pilot holes on this side. When it's all done, looks like this. And that gives you a 5-inch span on the top, which is more than enough for a picket. The reason why I'm going off center is this is where it'll be screwed into the stud, and this will be off to the side here a bit. Now the twins have come to join us. There's Milton and Sawyer, Tom Sawyer and Milton Burrell. Alright, so I've got 10 of these shelf brackets made. That's all I need for the top 2 shelves. Now I'm going back to making tiny windows, I guess. Did 2 more. These I'm not putting any brads in yet. I'm just letting them clamp up and glue. I'll let them sit overnight and then I might brad them in the morning. But I'm out of clamps and it's about midnight, so calling it a night. And we'll work on this tiny window project more tomorrow. Alright, just taking a little break here. This is the first shelf that I've started. Basically that's a 2 3/4 inch strip of cedar picket there in the back, which is being supported by blocks. This I'm not even tacking in because it's going to be captured by the next picket. So those are my first 2 picket supports. I'm going to be putting a full width picket on that, and that will be tacked down. And basically I'm just using these little blocks here, clamping them together, screwing them on, and I'll be going down to this last one here. I'm not worrying about any windows in here on the top shelf because I've got the polycarbonate roof panel here. So our first row of windows will probably start right about there. All right, in the learning as I go phase of things here, I've started taking about a 1/4 inch, or not even, maybe 1/8 of an inch, off of these ends of these 2x4s because they were extending a little bit. So, and also I started shortening the brackets because they're just really too long. Those 2 can stay because I really don't care that much, but going forward they'll be shorter, and these will be less high than the 2x4 behind it. Alright, shelf 1 is up. Did a test fit to make sure that the my wife's big cactus plant would fit up there. Does without a problem. Just had to shorten the screws on the solar light that was coming through the back panel there. And obviously I'm not going to load this thing up too much because I'm about to be cutting holes right about there with the little windows, so don't want to be shaking everything off the shelf, so that'll stay there for now, and I'll be back when something interesting happens. Alright, I think I have enough of these tiny windows installed to put on the second shelf. The second shelf would basically be about 2 boards down. That's the inside. Let's take a walk around the back here. There's one here on this side. And here's the view from the back walkway. There is one more underneath a ladder rung there that you can't see too well. So not really coming up with any type of pattern here. Just letting some light in, and with the help of that polycarbonate roof panel there, that's definitely going to bring more light in. I'm just giving you another shot with the ladder out of the way there so you can see what it's looking like. Hey, the the tiny windows project is almost complete here. We've got the second shelf on. We have windows, so we will get light on everything on the second shelf. And the only thing I might still do is I decided I'm just going to use this table down here, it's been there forever, so it can stay there. So I might pop another, sorry, dogs, the cats. So I might pop another window or two down in here in this corner, just get a little bit more light on that table. But other than that, it's just about done. And if I do any more here, I'll tack it on the end of this video. And there's the reason why the dogs are barking.